How's it going, everybody? My name is the Aura Knight. Today I'm going to be ranking Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra characters. The video will be broken into a few segments and then posted as individual YouTube shorts. The full screen version or long form video you have here is going to be the compilation of all of those, except obviously they will be meant for the full screen version. It will just be, for the YouTube shorts, will just be taken in chunks and put into YouTube short form. The rankings I'm going to be doing will be based out of 1 out of 10, purely out of my opinion, and the guidelines I'm more or less going to be following to is, or sticking to, is how much fun this character is to play as, how much fun this character is to play against, and how balanced I think this character is based off of my experiences. Hope you enjoy. The attacker Super Saiyan Goku is a wonderfully balanced character in that he has great damage output, complemented by a well-balanced health pool, allowing for him to rush in, deal great damage, but also not feel like too much of an overwhelming force, in that while he still is able to dominate fights, he is also able to eventually be taken down if played right and if you play around his skills well enough. Overall, this character is a fun, awesome character to play as. Even though he's been the, very first attacker they released, and it's Season 6 now, he's still very fun to play, very good. Overall, I rate him a 9 out of 10. The tank Super Saiyan Vegeta is, in my opinion, very mediocre. While he is very, very good at absorbing damage and then using his third skill to push enemies back and regen some of that health, his damage output overall is, in my opinion, again, not the greatest and not very easily able to compete with the absorption of damage that he has. Meaning that without an ally or teammate, this character is unable to do too much against opponents. He does do decent damage, I will give him that, but overall, not nearly as much as I think other tanks do, and other tanks do have, similar amounts of damage absorption while doing more damage. So, because of that, I think I'd give him a 6 out of 10. The technical character Krillin is, in my opinion, a very solid character. He's very fun to play. His playstyle is almost that of a designated annoyance, in that he can set up mines, blind his opponents, and deal decent damage with his super attack and third skill, allowing for a well-rounded character that is fast, has a limited health pool, has a decent damage output, and is fun to play defensively, offensively, or both, however you prefer. Overall, because of that, I believe this character deserves an 8 out of 10. The attacker Piccolo is an example of a very obnoxious character to fight. He does, in my opinion, way too much damage with his first skill, being able to just beam you, and even if he misses, then it explodes anyways, so what's the point of dodging it? Not actually, you can dodge it, but if it hits anything relatively close to you, it's just going to explode and hit you anyways. He can grapple around, so he can get in and out of fights. He runs away whenever you try to fight him, allowing his ally to then beat you over the head with a stick that he found on the ground, because why not? And he does way too much damage. The only reason I might be a little lenient is because I've had fun playing as him. I remember getting a double KO with Special Beam Cannon at one point, but overall it's not enough to save his fate. I give him a 4 out of 10. The technical character Gohan is a very, if I must say, mediocre character. He has decent to good damage output depending on how well you're able to use him. His ultimate is fairly powerful. However, his third skill, being a defense up to anyone in the area he creates, is okay. However, he is also a technical, meaning he has a smaller health pool, meaning that while he does give defense up, he isn't able to hold it. You are able to hold it, but not very safely, as, if you get hit too many times. Even with the defense up, your small health pool can't take too many attacks. I will say he's fun to use. His stun ability and his overall damage output is very high and decent, especially for a technical character. But I do believe there are better technical characters out there, leading me to believe that this character is a 6 out of 10. My apologies to whoever likes to actually play the attacker Dabura, but I severely and extremely despise playing against this character. The amount of damage he can do, and the speed at which he can turn you to stone, basically almost doing everything but guaranteeing a KO, which it already pretty much does anyways, makes him so infuriating to fight against. And the fact that he has two abilities that cancel out your Vanish ability, meaning you can't vanish, with Vanish being the only way to effectively minimize and shrink the amount of petrification bar that you have filled up mid-battle, basically guaranteeing you get stoned within like 5 seconds, is so frustrating. I thoroughly despise this character. It might be petty, but I'm giving him a 3 out of 10. The best way I can describe the technical character Majin Buu good is that he is like the helpful younger brother. He has a very cool attack that allows him to heal his allies in his healing ray. He has some very disruptive debuff attacks that can be very disruptive to the opponent, literally, as he has a charge attack that disrupts attacks or skills. But overall, he doesn't have any damage output. While that is not a necessary thing for a character to have, more or less it is nice to have, hence why it is nice that he can heal, but also I wish he would be able to back it up with some damage output, especially since, without damage output, he can't level up very fast, and it's, very hard to play. Overall, I give him a 5 out of 10. The tank Zamasu, or Zamasu, is, in my example, another instance of a very mediocre tank. He has a similar issue to Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta, where he just doesn't do enough damage to, match how tanky he is. He's a bit more balanced than Vegeta, as he does a bit more damage, but is a little less tanky. But that is in part due to the fact that his passive works, where he has a bar below his health bar that fills up gradually, and the more it fills up, the more health he heals over time. And if it's above a certain point, when his health goes down to 0, he completely restores. He uses the entirety of that bar to restore his health so he can keep fighting, which allows him to elongate fights a lot more. However, this does not save his rank, as I still believe he is also 6 out of 10 like Vegeta. Super Saiyan Kale Berserk is a range character, who is an attacker, and is in the similar category as Piccolo. I think very lowly of this character. However, I do think a bit better of her than I do Piccolo, as with Piccolo, you just click skill 1 and win. Kale, you actually have to think a bit more, as her skills combo together to deal great damage output, and her ultimate is very powerful, but can also be countered quite easily, allowing this character to be countered a bit easier, eliminated a bit easier, but also have a great damage output, as, she is an attacker. Overall, I think this character is slightly higher up than Piccolo, allowing for her to be a 5 out of 10, in my opinion. The attacker Son Goku Mini from Dragon Ball Daima really only sponsors or creates one question from me. Why? Why is he in the game? He doesn't impact anything. I apologize if you like playing this character, but I have never seen a very big game-changing play made by Daima Goku. I'm going to go ahead and knock on wood right now, because I don't want to go log on and my next ranked game be dominated by Daima Goku's. But, like I said, from my previous experiences, I have not seen very good things come from a Daima Goku player. Again, I apologize. It's not that I've had bad experiences with him, it's just I haven't seen him do a whole lot, purely because that's just how his kit is built. So I give him a 3 out of 10. The technical Frieza First form is, in my opinion, a very, once more, mediocre character. He can be played fun. He is very fun to play, I will admit. He can be annoying at times when he sets up Dodoria, because he headbutts you and pushes you away. But overall, not that big of a nuisance. Unless he's setting up tower defense or defending, he isn't that useful. Again, knock on wood. But like I said, his ult, I will say, is very powerful. It's a very handy ult. It's not as powerful as, like, Cooler's Atomic Supernova, but it's a very good ult nonetheless. And again, that is also comparing it to Cooler's Atomic Supernova, which is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful ults in the game, though I might be pretty biased. Overall, this character, I think, deserves a 6 out of 10. In my personal opinion, I feel that the attacker Bojack is actually a bit more of an underrated character. He has a good damage output, is an interesting character in that he has ranged attacks and yet is a bit more meant to get into the fray of battle, specifically. The way he can set up a minefield and then detonate them himself on the opponents using his other skills for boosted damage is really nice. His kit is really well made. His ult, while it does leave you as a sitting duck, does also do pretty good damage. Sorry, super attack. And overall, even his passive being that if you rush attack after a skill, one of his crew members will help and attack you by attacking you or the target. Overall, I think he's a very good character, underrated, and I believe he's a 7 out of 10. The tank baby young body is another instance of an annoying character that runs away. He doesn't have a lot of health, doesn't deal a lot of damage. His third skill and main gimmick is being able to jump into his his allies' bodies, healing himself and firing energy blasts to then heal the ally that owns the body he's in. He can also take over the opponent's bodies, but they have small health when he does, and it's only when he eliminates them. Overall, not a very powerful character, if you ask me. Very reliant on his allies. I give him, I don't know, a 4 out of 10. Super Oob, the attacker, has to be one of the most deceiving characters in the game. You'd think that at face value, due to him not being Goku or Vegeta and being, relatively a side character, that he would, not be all that powerful. Not due to anything racial, I just want to clarify that. But you'd think he wouldn't be that powerful, which is actually false. If you ask me, this character can, when set up and played right, be one of the most powerful characters in the game. He has attacks that melt, he has an ult that can, or super attack, that can nearly one-shot, and his abilities and kit work so well to just melt people's health. It is really fun to play, hard to play against, but overall, very powerful character. I give him an 8 out of 10. The tank Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla is, in my opinion, a mixed, mediocre / okay fighter and character in Gekishin Squadra. She works well in the damage output department, is fairly tanky, has a shield option button that allows her to, not be hit by any physical attacks, as it creates a barrier that pushes people away, preventing them from getting close enough to do physical attacks. And her mechanic of creating wrath for the opponent, meaning that the opponent can only aim their attacks at her, is very interesting, very cool to play around with, or around, and battle around with. However, fighting against it can be very obnoxious, especially when you're trying to use your abilities to get out of there and escape. Overall, because of the fighting against her part, I give her a 6 out of 10. The attacker Super Saiyan Trunks Teen, or Future Trunks, in my opinion, is a very solid character. He does a lot of great damage, His passive ability, allowing him to get a free reusage of one of his skills after an elimination or assist, is really nice. It promotes him to be a bit more of an aggressive character, along with his very powerful attacks that all hit for a lot of damage. His health bar is relatively balanced, especially in the early game when he is a lot more of a glass cannon. And he's overall fun to play with, fun to have as a teammate, annoying to fight against, but that's partly because he's just very powerful, not because he's just annoying as a character, but, because like I said, he eliminates you very fast due to his very powerful attacks. All this considered, I'd say I'd give him the similar rank as Super Saiyan Goku, that being a 9 out of 10. The technical character Android 17 is, in my opinion, an example of a very well-made technical character. He has a decent health pool, obviously still small considering he's a technical character and relative to other characters. He has a decent damage output. He has an ult and a skill 3 that grant temporary bonus health to him and his allies, allowing them to keep fighting for longer and have a better chance at winning the fight. His passive ability allows him to use a move a second time, occasionally when the bar that indicates that is full, with the skill having added benefits and bonuses and boosts the second time it is used after recharge, making him overall a very powerful fighter and very fun to use, leading me to believe that he is a 9 out of 10. My opinion on the tank Cooler final form is, warning, very biased. He is one of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball, and became one of my favorite characters of Dragon Ball because of this game, and like I said, because of Gekishin, he is now one of my 3 favorite Dragon Ball characters, and even gameplay-wise, I absolutely love to play him. He's, like, one of my 2 mains, like, overall, even between tank, technical, and attack. He hits so hard, does so much damage, is so tanky. Like I said, I feel like I should reiterate this. He hits like a freight train. Each one of his attacks does so much damage and is so useful, utility and damage-wise. His ult, or super attack, Atomic Supernova, is so powerful. I have several clips of just wiping full teams with that ult. His passive ability, Retaliation, allowing him to power up his attacks when he is a hit during a skill, is crazy, and I give him an easy 10 out of 10. The attackers in the Gammas are, as they state, a couple of old-fashioned superheroes. They work very well as attackers, I will say. They have great damage output. I heavily enjoy playing them when I do occasionally do. When I grinded for star levels with them, it was really fun. The mechanic of switching between the two is really interesting. Their ult, being able to one-shot 1 time per game when it's at max level, with the exchange of losing, all of Gamma 2's HP bar, is really interesting, really cool, really fun mechanic. I think these characters are really well made, and I believe that they are a 7 out of 10. The attacker, Android 18, is Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra's first, more or less, Blitz Rush type character, in that she is designed to heavy focus one character at a time, and in doing so, dish out heavy damage with her passive ability that allows her to deal more damage to enemies when they have more and more of her stacks that she applies with her skills, and also do a single strong hit for rush attack after every skill usage. Complementing that is her array of very powerful, very quick skills and super attacks that allow her to dish out large amounts of damage relatively fast, allowing her to do very well in combat and end fights quickly. Overall, I give her an 8 out of 10. The tank Cell Perfect Form is a wonderful character. He's very balanced, he has great damage output, it can also tank hits very easily, has a regen ability, kind of like Vegeta, except it works a bit differently. His ult is fun to play around with. His second skill, being able to, allow you to prevent people from escaping in a more balanced way than a certain character I'll talk about coming up, is very nice. I really enjoy playing this character. I don't main him. He's not one of my favorite characters of all time, but I will say he is a very good character overall. He's balanced, but also very powerful. I think it's fair to say that he is an 8 out of 10. The technical hit, in my opinion, is a very, very fun technical character to play. I might be a little biased considering I did main him for a point of time before I began to main Cooler, but overall, his gameplay mechanics, the fact how he's made, where he goes invisible and strikes you from all over, allows him to stun you, give a bunch of debuffs. His ult is really fun because it makes you feel like you're actually playing hit and like moving around in his ultimates in a lot of games, or which allows his super attack to be very fun. He's balanced in that if he's hit while invisible, he will obviously come out of invisibility, but overall, very fun character. I highly enjoy him. I'd say 9 out of 10. The attacker Super Saiyan 3 Goku is, in my opinion, one of the most fun attackers there is to play. I mained him, or at least attacker mained him for a while. Obviously, my overall main out of any rank or class is Cooler and then Jiren now as well, so the two of them. But for attacker specific, I mained him for quite a good amount of time until recently. I kind of started playing Beerus. This character is a lot of fun. He is really powerful in terms of damage over time and being able to just teleport anywhere on the map and just fire a giant Kamehameha is wonderful. It is so much fun to just blitz around the map and just Dragon Fist, Kamehameha, and then energy drop down onto people. Overall, I highly enjoy this character. 9 out of 10. In the case of the technical Super Saiyan Gotenks, I have mixed opinions. He's fun. I can see the appeal, especially with the being able to set the ghosts up everywhere. That's fun, I will admit. Except, most of his kit is really fun to use. It's obnoxious to fight against, especially when he has that big stun that does a lot of damage. His Galactic Donuts, I don't understand how you're supposed to use that, because it's slow, hard to hit, people run out of it. I don't know. Overall, I think this is an okay character. He's not terrible. He's very great at helping support and debuff enemies. I just personally think that there are some technicals that are better, so 7 out of 10. God of Destruction Toppo, the attacker, in my opinion, is a very powerful character. His build-up damage over time and his counter help to make him a formidable force in-game. His passive ability allowing him to get his attacks back sooner, as well as his ultimate getting more powerful the more stacks each opponent has, or stacks of Mark of Destruction, is really good. The way his counter works is phenomenal, except when you're on the receiving end, obviously. Because nobody likes, or at least I personally don't like getting all of my attacks, all of my damage flicked right back at me. But overall, a very fun character, very powerful. I'd say 8 out of 10. The tank Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, in my opinion, is a wonderful character. He's a lot of fun to play. His ability to control the movement, literally, of the battle by pulling, pushing, and moving enemies wherever he wants them is so cool. It's really fun to just play tower defense and just sit there as an immovable wall, not letting anybody get close. His stun is really good. His ult does actually a really nice amount of damage. Not the most damage I've ever seen, obviously, but, you know, it does a decent amount of damage while also moving them. The shield is very versatile and useful. Overall, this character is very fun to play. I'd have to say another 8 out of 10. The technical character Ultimate Gohan has definitely grown on me over the time I've played the game. When he first released, he was the bane of my existence. the fact that he can teleport in front of you and knock you back from wherever he teleported from, basically working as a you cannot leave, get back here type of move, was so obnoxious. His stuns, his defenses, down moves, the fact that he has an ult that is literally just pure damage, even though whenever I use it, it's whatever. It was so obnoxious. I've definitely had less problems with him now. So I will say that my rating of him has gone up, but you know, still a little obnoxious whenever I fight him if they know what they're doing. I'd say probably 6 out of 10. The attacker DBZ Broly, for me, is another character that just embodies power. He hits very hard, has a decent health pool for an attacker at least, and his passive and the build-up that allows him to do more and more rush attack damage, the more he fills up the bar below your health, is really good. He's fun to play. I will say it's sad that he got nerfed into the ground to the point where he's very hard to play now because he just doesn't do enough damage anymore. His ult is really fun. A lot of this opinion is going to be based on before the patch or whatever happened to him because he got nerfed into the ground, like I said. But, you know, before then, he was a lot of fun. Now he's, you know, fallen because obviously he got nerfed. So, before, I would have said something higher, but I guess 7 out of 10. The attacker Super Vegito is, in my opinion, very fun while also being somewhat complex. For a while, I knew how to play him. I just evidently didn't know how to play him, like, extremely effectively. Now that I know a bit more on how he works and how his dash ability is meant to be used, I know how to play him at a bit of a higher, you know, better efficiency level, but I still think that there are better attackers in my case, at least. It is a very fun design and a very cool concept of what they are trying to do, in that he's much better for team wipes and team fights. His ult is very fun. It reminds me of the Winter Soldier from Marvel Rivals, if you guys have ever played that game. Overall, very fun character, 9 out of 10. For me, the tank Super Saiyan Bardock is okay. I'm sorry if I offend anybody by saying this, but I will admit I see the potential. It just doesn't play with how I like to perform and play. I like to be able to, you know, be a bit more damaging while also, you know, being able to take the hits. That's why I really like to play Cooler and Jiren. But with this character, he's definitely very defensive, very good at pushing towers, very good at holding down towers. His damage output, while obviously not as high as Cooler or Jiren, is very good. He's very good at absorbing damage. It's just, in my experience, I've seen my allies play well as him. I just personally don't like playing him. So, because of that, I say 6 out of 10 just from personal experience. The attacker Super Saiyan 2 Kefla just has not sat well with me. I'm fine with her. Playing as her is okay. It is fun, I will say. Especially with when her ult actually does a lot of damage. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't do anything, which makes no sense to me. Her skills are powerful. She's very powerful in the way she plays, but that also comes with the downside of being an obnoxious foe to fight. The fact that her third skill allows her to have movement speed up for a very long time, and her skills and vanishing passive allow her to do a lot of damage where it makes it so when you're in a disadvantage in a bad spot, fighting her can be a very big pain. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say 7 out of 10. Super Saiyan God Goku, the attacker, in my opinion, can be both the most fun character, or one of the most fun characters in the game, or one of the most obnoxious characters in existence. When playing as him, he melts people. His God Shoot ability is so powerful. It's so much fun. You just sit there back, let it fire, and you just melt people. It is a lot of fun, especially his ult, that is basically a intercontinental ballistic missile. Is really fun. However, fighting him sucks. He's like Piccolo, except more health, more damage, and especially when you have a good tank that is with him, blocking everything. I have to say 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10. In terms of tanks, Super Saiyan God Vegeta has some of the best damage absorption that you can get. He is really good at just blocking everything, especially with his passive that allows him to just regen health at insane speeds. His abilities to control where people go, control how they move, when they move, his damage is all really nice. I will say his damage is slightly lacking though compared to, you know, my mains, Cooler and Jiren. But it is a very powerful character overall. However, like I said, damage is very lacking to the point where it almost feels like I rely heavily on teammates, which isn't bad, but, you know, 6 out of 10. Sorry. The technical Majin Buu Pure, or Kid Buu, is one of the most powerful technicals there is, if you ask me. He hits very hard. His abilities are fun, but also hard to get around, especially when he has his first skill maxed, and then he can just throw his little parts everywhere. And his ult is so powerful, especially that it has global, like, full map effects. It is really powerful character. I have high opinions of him because I play him quite often. But he is also, like I said, a very game-changing character, especially with his foot tether that allows him to stun people. It is a really powerful character overall, so I have to say 9 out of 10. The technical character Frieza 4th Form is a very fun character. I really enjoy playing as him. It's always funny to just place a wall in front of people when you're defending the base and just watch them as they have to just sit there and wait patiently just while the wall just exists because they can't do anything about it. He's very powerful. His death beam hits very hard. His stun is very good. And he also has some great combos combos with other characters. One of my favorites is I feel he pairs fairly well with Final Form Cooler, which kind of makes sense considering they're brothers, but largely due to the fact that Frieza is able to then wall enemies in while Cooler, you know, puts the pause on them. Overall, I have to say 8 out of 10. The attacker Son Goku Youth is one of the most balanced characters I think we have in terms of attackers. He is powerful. His Power Pole Extend, or Nyoibo Extend, is very, very good burst damage. It hits very hard, sometimes annoyingly hard, but, you know, his ult is great burst damage. It hits very hard, although the hitbox is kind of finicky because you have to hit him, like, with the actual your character. If they're just on the edge of it, it does, like, no damage. But overall, there are much more powerful characters. This one is just very balanced, which is nice. It's refreshing to see. But I must say, not the most powerful one we have. I hate to put him this low, but I think 5 out of 10. The tank Bulma, in my opinion, has to be one of the most obnoxious characters in the game. Right up there with Dabura. Except Dabura, I can actually, you know, see usage with him. This character, I don't understand. I see how she could be crazy good for tower defense, and I've seen her be really good for tower defense at just taking anything in general, because when she throws down her little capsule house, you can't get in there, and she just gets anything she wants, which is obnoxious. The only problem is, the people playing her are never, ever good. And she's just not a good character. No offense, I'm sorry, but, like, I've seen so many times when a Bulma has just left someone to die or get eliminated and just ran away. don't like this character. She's obnoxious to fight. I hate, this is my lowest rating, I think, but 2 out of 10. The attacker, God of Destruction Beerus, is, in my opinion, my favorite attacker character in the game right now. He is so much fun to blitz rush people and just eviscerate them within seconds. His ult is very powerful, though I struggle to use it sometimes because it auto-locks onto a bunch of different people and then I do like no damage. But his ult is very powerful if you know how to use it. His skills combo well, especially with his designated combo enhancer ability, being his third skill. His passive, allowing him to finish people faster, is crazy. He's a very powerful character. I really enjoy playing this character. Overall, I gotta say, 9 out of 10. The technical character Goku Black, in my opinion, can either be very fun and maybe one of the most fun technicals there is, or the bane of my existence, again. Because the way this character plays, the stunning and the way he can move you is a lot of fun to use and a lot of fun when your teammates are using it. However, when the enemy is competent and knows how to play the character, it can be a pain in the butt because you get dragged out, pulled away from your team, or they run away from you. I've had that happen a few times. My teammates leave me, and then you get stunned or just held there, and then you just get jumped. It is annoying. I don't like when it happens, but, you know, it's how the character plays. It's a really good thing, a really smart thing to do. So, honestly, I can't complain too much, but still, it happens and it sucks, so 7 out of 10. The tank full power Jiren is, and this is going to be biased, a crazy powerful character, just in general. Again, like I said, this is biased because he is one of my first 2 favorite Dragon Ball characters of all time. Even long before this game came out, and I added Cooler to make it a trifecta. Back when I first started watching Dragon Ball, him and MUI Goku were instantly my favorite 2 characters. Now, like I said, Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra opened my eyes, and I added Cooler. Anyways, gameplay-wise, this character is very powerful, very tanky. He tanks hits like nobody's business. I joke that he's like the brother to Jiren, brother to Cooler, because they both have similar play styles. He hits like a truck. He is so much fun to use. He melts people. I really enjoy this character. 10 out of 10. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Have a great day. I will update these videos in the future when they release new characters. Obviously, probably at the end of the next season, because, you know, I want to have enough where I can also make a short out of it and, you know, give you guys enough content. But still, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and have a great day.